Wake up, Adam, they are getting close. Looking out the window, I see a crescendo, and I'm not going to go where a pagoda's rose. Looking out the window. NATO meeting fails to approve first defense plan since the Cold War. Of course, this is because of Turkey apparently saying that they do not want to support it. NATO defense ministers meeting in Brussels have failed to reach an agreement over the alliance's first defense plans since the end of the Cold War, two officials told Reuters on Friday. While regional plans were not formally endorsed today, we anticipate these plans will be part of a series of deliverables for the Vilnius summit in July, essentially pushing the can down the road. What is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Essentially, they were trying to come up with a plan of defense against any kind of event if Russia ends up attacking NATO countries, and Turkey, once again, has stopped that. A lot of folks are looking at Turkey and starting to think, are these the insiders for Russia? It says a NATO diplomat said Turkey had blocked the decision over the wording of geographical locations, also with regard to Cyprus. It says that the diplomat added that there were still opportunity to find a solution before the NATO summit in mid-July in Vilnius. Well, think about this. If something did happen in the next couple of weeks, apparently they would have to get a plan together and rather quickly. So this is quite odd. We'll talk about this and much, much more, including Iran possibly putting hypersonic nukes in Cuba. Knew something was up with that when we heard about that. So we'll talk about that and much, much more. And tonight is a call-in show. So if you do want to call in, 224400MARF. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we have a lot to go over in a short amount of time, so remember you can always go over to marfooglenews.com and you can find every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. Now, when you go over there, just look for today's thumbnail, and you will see that we have every single article, tweet, video, picture, document there on NATO fails, nuclear sub, appear in the Pacific, and digital ID coming. As if we didn't predict that enough times, of course, being suggested digital ID, a fingerprint, will you, of every single person on the internet. How is this that we just keep predicting this spot on? Do we have a crystal ball, or is it just common sense? I think it's the latter. But we'll talk about that and much, much more on tonight's show. If you want sources for everything we're going to talk about, it is right down here. Now, there's also the overflow. Make sure to go and check that out. We'll talk about that at the very end with Dex. That, of course, is all of the stuff that could not fit into the show, or is the stuff that will get you in a fight at work if you talk about. So make sure to go check that out. Let's bring in Dex. Dex James, what is going on and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. Now, remember, you can also find all of our mods. If you're in chat, you're probably going to be interacting with them some. They're all really great people. Most of them have been with me for 4, 5, 6 years. So make sure to go check out their channels. And of course, all of the friends of Marfoogle. Of course, all of the fam member friends are all down there as well under Friends of Creators. So let's get the phones going. Remember, and in fact, Dex, before you do that, I just wanted to pop in and have you. What did you think when they said that Obama is suggesting digital fingerprints to counter misinformation, so we know what's true and what's not true?
I mean, we just talked about this. We were like, this is what they're setting us up for. We were connecting the dots on these things. It wasn't like somebody said this and now boom, here we go. This guy is coming out saying we need the digital fingerprints. So yeah, not surprising, at least if you've been around this channel and you've been listening to what everybody in our fam and ourselves have been saying. But yeah, wow.
So, and more, it's like, so there's, over the years, there's so many people that end up giving us crap. And by us, I mean all of us, right? We have seen this for a very long time. The audience members, you guys know, you've known that this is what's up. We've talked about this. I mean, it's not even like we're hypothesizing anymore. It's like we're talking about where these patterns lead. Mainstream led us to that prediction because mainstream just kept putting out these little things. And now, I tell you, it is serious that our former prez, who many think that he is, secretly in one of the circle of friends that's in charge, the fact that he is suggesting this, the ever beloved, most loved prez in the last 4 presidents or whatever, compared to T-Man, of course, on the other side of the aisle, he is saying that we need digital fingerprints. Is this not exactly what we called? I mean, this is a we told you so 1,000,000 times over, and not we told you because you guys knew. But if you've told your friends about this, make sure to share this out. We're going to clip this so you can, because this is exactly what we have seen coming for a very long time, and I do not doubt that they are going to do what it actually takes to get this through. So I hope that people fight tooth and nail for this. When they showed the fake picture of the Pentagon, and when they showed this and they showed that, we talked about this numerous times. We said they're giving us the problem. They're saying, hey, we can't tell what's real. We can't tell if this is deep fake, if we can't tell this is false information. I mean, heck, we didn't even predict it first. You know what? Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3, one of the old games, it's probably 25 years old, literally predicted this years and years ago in their audio. I mean, it's just nuts. Having a digital fingerprint for people to track every single person. And remember, I covered the DHS piece of paper that said, oh, they're building something and they're trying to they're patenting and they're trying to make the system to where it can track every single person and test the liveness of who is logging in. And they just threw a tiny little part in there. And I did a whole short video on this. Which, Dex, if we can, let's attach that to the website. We did a video on this when this piece of paper came out. Nobody covered it. And that piece of paper essentially added a tiny part in there. The DHS officially said, this is for logging in for military, this and that, and social media. And they just threw that in there. Like, oh, wait, what? So if you get on TikTok, they're going to have a system designed by possibly the government that's going to tell you if you're a live person or not? This is what we've been talking about, and every single time we've called things out like this, this is why I say, when they say, oh, everything you hear on the internet is true, 90% of it, depending on where you're getting your information, yeah, it is true. And it's like, time and time again, it's like if you see a whole lot of people saying something and the mainstream is saying that's not true, it's almost every single time when you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people saying something like, this is true, this is true, this is true. You just wait long enough and it does become true. It's like every single time we find out that these things are true. And it's just like everything that went through with CV when millions of people were calling out like, this isn't right, or this has this in it, or that has that in it, or that doesn't stop this, or this doesn't prevent you from this. Every single time that it was called out, oh, that doesn't, that's not for horses, this is for that, blah, blah, blah. Every single time. Every single time. You wait a few months, and it doesn't matter. For that few months, they ended up accomplishing what they needed in that time period, and then it would end up being put out there. If you wait really long, then you start getting the really big stuff, like, obviously, we still haven't gotten the full story on the JFK stuff or any of the stuff back then. But I think if you wait long enough, you'll find out there are so many lies just floating around us. It's insane. So as far as this goes, former Prez suggested in a new interview the development of, quote, digital fingerprints. It is no accident that this gentleman is suggesting it. It is no accident that this specific person is suggesting it to combat misinformation and distinguish between true and misleading news. First of all, we're adults. Let us decide on what the hell true news is. People should be offended that they call all of us just absolutely morons. They basically say that we can't figure things out on our own. And yes, I'm sure you're thinking there are some people that are gullible. Well, guess what? It's survival of the fittest. If they're that gullible, the funny thing is the people that believe that stuff are the same people that are saying we need this. They're the ones who believe everything that the mainstream says. They're the people that literally believe everything that pops out on the TV. They're the people that believe the little jingles to tell them to do something. They're the same people that will literally take a free meal at McDonald's to change their body forever. These are not smart people, or at least not street smart. They're getting fooled. It's easier to fool a man than to convince a man that they have been fooled. And that is the truest thing, and especially since 2019, it's been the truest thing ever. If somebody's been fooled, they do not want to admit they've been fooled. And that's why it's so hard to change somebody's opinion. It's very easy to fool somebody, but it is very, very, very hard to convince somebody they have been fooled. It goes against their every grain. And I think that everybody's going to have the wool pulled back, and they're going to realize that all of us in this community have been right this entire time, and they're really going to kick themselves in the butt for calling you crazy. Dex, thank you. Let's open up the phone lines, 2244-00-MARF. Thank you, two old ladies and a pug. Thank you for joining, and welcome. Thank you for grabbing a badge. Next Exit says they are pushing so much on things that the majority of people do not want. How do we win? Well, you definitely don't believe that it's the minority of people. This is why Twitter is important. And if you guys are not on Twitter, you should be, because it doesn't matter who owns it. Twitter has been where they have been pulling all of this outrage from. It was really before, it was the outrage machine. Outrage against the machine, because this thing was creating all of the different things. They would pull 4 or 5 people, which we don't know if they were bots or if they were part of the 1 million man army in Xi's country. We don't know if they were Russian. We don't know if they were CIA. They would pull out 5 things in a mainstream article, say Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, whatever it may be. They would pull 5 people and show an opinion, and then all of a sudden they'd say, yeah, everybody is talking about this. It wasn't everybody. It was 5 people that we don't even know who they are, and then all of a sudden it would be a hashtag. I don't know if you guys have realized this, but those hashtags that would go viral, the prior owners of Twitter were in control of making things go viral, so they could make it show to everybody. And then all of a sudden you have an argument that nobody actually brought up, an argument for or against something that really wasn't even being talked about. And then they force you talking about it by pushing it down your throat in every facet of media. And this is how they would get things done. Now, I don't know so much about the new one, because I don't think they really cover Twitter that much unless they're bashing it. Because the new ones, if you go to trending constantly on a daily basis, it's something about horrible things that no mainstream will ever touch. If you go there now, it's like, I don't know if the algorithm got better at just personally showing me stuff, but it was like every single thing was not something you would see on the news. So it is a good resource for that too, because you'll see stuff that you're not going to see on mainstream and that possibly we couldn't even show you here. So I would highly recommend going over there and following us over at Marfoogle, at MARFOOGLE. But yeah, what do you think about this? Did you not see this coming? It's absolutely insane. Vladimir Putin tells West to go to hell on nuclear arms reduction. So essentially, we asked and he answered. It said Vladimir Putin told the West to, quote, go to hell on nuclear arms reduction as he confirmed that atomic weapons have already been deployed in Belarus. The Russian president, speaking at the annual St. Petersburg Economic Forum, said that, quote, we have more nuclear missiles than NATO countries, and they want to reduce our numbers. Go to hell, he said. From applause at visiting delegates. It says the unusually foul-mouthed remarks came during a 3-hour speech at the event once dubbed Russia's Davos, which this year featured strongmen tearing apart tennis balls among a host of bizarre vignettes. Putin said that the, quote, first part of a nuclear weapon had been delivered to Belarus, with the process set to be complete by summer. It will mark the first time that Moscow has deployed nuclear weapons outside of its borders since the fall of the Soviet Union. Russia is theoretically ready to fire an atomic weapon if its territorial integrity is threatened, Putin said. Which, again, right now, there's tons of plans being worked out, and even the first story where NATO is essentially coming up with a plan to essentially attack back or defend, but we don't know. If the right Fantastic Freddy happens, then we're all of a sudden in a declared World War III with everybody declaring versus them, this, them versus this and this versus them. And in another warning to the West, the 70-year-old Russian leader suggested Moscow may strike F-16 jets meant for Ukraine, even on NATO soil. F-16 aircraft will burn like these tanks, he said, referring to Russian strikes on German Leopard 2 tanks. If they are based in air bases in other countries but are used in UKR, then we will have to think carefully where to hit them. So it is a threat, but at the same time, it is basically saying we may hit inside of NATO to take these out before they go to UKR. Strategically, it would be smart if there wasn't a NATO and if they weren't defending it, and it would basically cause World War III. But maybe this is the setup for the very first, the real pop-off of this thing. This is a slow game. They are definitely planning every little part of this out, and that includes what the information that they're telling the public, both in Russia and it here. So I really wonder, I believed over the last month that this is coming very soon. That's my opinion. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope in 6 months people can go, oh, you said it was possibly going to happen in the next couple months. I sure hope it doesn't. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And make sure to give us a call at 2244-00-MARF. Let's hear your opinion on it. A. Shell, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $1 super chat. I appreciate you. Tammy Petite, thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. And then Next Exit, thank you. Russ Kaparik, I think that is how you say it. Thank you for subscribing. Christy Allen, thank you for subscribing. Aaron Woodtaker, Eric Waracre, and then Eric Wood, thank you for subscribing as well. Rasta Bear and Rebecca Albertin, Rod, Fed Up, and Kronosh, and Greg Richard, thank you so much for subscribing as well. You can give us a call. The number is scrolling right down below, 2244-00-MARF. Otherwise, it is 2244-00-6273. And then South Africa is expecting Putin in August, despite obligation to extradite him to the Hague, or Hague, however you want to say it, the Hague, whatever you call it. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has said that he is expecting Russian President Vladimir Putin to attend the BRICS summit in August, despite the country's obligation to arrest him and hand him over to the ICC, or International Criminal Court. It said that and by the way, I did not put this. So the South African president, I did tweet this, and I will try to remind Dex. Dex is probably over on the phones, but I'll try to remind him to put this on the website. So there is a video of a press journalist from South Africa that ended up essentially doing a video from the runway. And what they did is the actual South African president was allowed to go do his meeting, but even the security staff of the president, half of the security staff, and then all of the journalists that were basically with the presidency all got held on the plane, and they were not allowed out. Even though they had correct paper, they had everything else, the Polish government did not let them out of the plane. They held them there for more than 9 hours as of the video that she did. There was definitely a whole lot of different kind of conflicting views on it. But mostly people said, how do they do that? How do they hold the press back? I thought it was pretty shady. Basically, the South African president was going to go meet with some people, and there was no press to cover it from their own country. South Africa's had some really shady stuff. They've had super shady stuff going on for the last ever. If I have a South African friend, he's kind of educated me on some of it, but it's lawlessness, it's crazy, it's chaos, it's scandal, it's everything. I mean, if you think it's bad here, it's really, really bad there. But again, they said, according to the South African leader, they are, quote, expecting Putin's arrival and will discuss his visit for the BRICS summit during a bilateral meeting on Moscow on Saturday. It says, this issue is still being discussed and considered. I have already said in South Africa and on other platforms that I will have to make decisions and announce how this BRICS summit will be held. And that is exactly what we will do. It says an informal grouping of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, aka the BRICS, is due to hold a summit in Johannesburg, South Africa in August. However, South Africa has ratified the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, which issued an arrest warrant for Putin in March of 2023 for his involvement in the mass deportation of UKR children from the occupied territories. Now, remember when that back when that happened, we don't know what really happened there, but essentially they said that he took the kids. The other side said that they were evacuating that area and essentially offered them the place to go when they went in and destroyed everything. Whatever side you want to believe, essentially he got a warrant for supposedly taking those kids. Some believe it that they did this so they could move this forward, and essentially he would be trapped out of traveling to certain places once the ICC did this. It says this puts South Africa in a delicate position as the Rome Statute obliges the parties to arrest anyone against whom a warrant has been issued. Most Western signatories have already confirmed that they will do so. In addition, Ramaphosa said back in March that South Africa would withdraw from the International Criminal Court, although later his office said it was a mistake. This is not the first attempt by South Africa to withdraw from the ICC. The country tried to do so in 2016 after it ignored an arrest warrant for former Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir in 2015. So all of this stuff is super shady. You don't have to be an expert on the world to know that there are all sorts of crazy, crazy scandals going between every single country. These countries all get their pockets lined, especially some of the bigger countries with less stable governments. They have tons of scandalous stuff going on at all times. So I don't know what's going on with that, but the fact that China, India, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, they're doing this other, BRICS system, this is going to cause a shakeup of the whole world, and people are paying attention to it. So this is pretty big. Before we move on, I want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out the solar generators that we recommend. These are Energy. They're one of the best brands out there. They, of course, are deadly silent. These things can be ran inside. You're not going to hear them from 3 blocks away. This is the way to have backup power and be a gray man at the same time. Go over to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY. They're expandable, they're modular, they're built like trucks, and of course they are one of the most reliable machines out there for backup power. They get their power from the sun, so you have unlimited power as long as you have some solar panels, and of course it stores it. It in fact now has the new Flex Tactical, which actually has the built-in heaters as well. So make sure to go check out all of them. They also have an X2, which has a built-in lithium iron phosphate. So make sure to go check out all of them. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. You'll not only save money, but you'll help us as well. We're independent. We don't have a multi-channel network. And of course, we are backed up by you guys. So thank you and appreciate it. All right, let's get our first caller on, and it looks like we have... All right, let's see. David, first-time caller. There we go. Or no, I'm sorry, AJ, and also a first-time caller. AJ, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hello, Marv. Wow, man, this is an amazing channel you have here. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you so much for just, letting us know all this valuable information. I mean, I kept saying, man, I don't really have any money and I don't know if I can get this stuff. I was worrying at the beginning. And when I listened more to your channel, I was like, okay, this guy's the real deal. Let me see what's going on. And everything you said that you've been saying, you and Dex there, has confirmed a lot of dreams I've had growing up. And man, I used to be scared. And man, seeing what you guys are saying in a different way, in more detail, blows my mind. And I just thank you for that, man. It's awesome, man, that there's other people out there like that.
Well, we have tons
shining down.
If you're new to us, we have tons of friends out there too. Great channels around us that you can also go to that I think would match perfectly. So, by the way, make sure if you can, I don't know if I thought I heard an echo for a second. Make sure to turn me off on the TV or anything. So
yeah, I got you off.
So you saw premonitions, is that right?
Yes. I was my background isn't, like everyone else's that I've encountered. My lifestyle was, where, how can I say this? Where I was a young kid, with a broken family, and would see things that no one would believe that I seen in my dreams and in my room. My brother is the only one that shared these things with me, seeing these things. And some people call them shadow people. And since then, at the age of 5, seeing a book from my father laying on his desk, because my father would draw, and I think it was called Ancient Mysteries or something, like it was a black book with a pyramid or something like that. Some of them, there was like an encyclopedia type of book. And they had different variations of monsters and Loch Ness, all kinds of different things. And UFOs was in there, and I said, okay, that's interesting. And I was a little kid, 5-year-old. But as I got older, I started feeling like someone or something was watching me. And I started having these dreams of walking through gates, seeing hallways, seeing dragons in the sky that I was trying to say in comments a while ago when I first started watching your show, and I called you guys the trumpets. And these dragons, were just dragons, as you would see dragons, and they look similar to the dragon country, theirs, and I don't know if the other couple countries that I don't want to say. So when I seen them, there was chaos, conflict, fire. And that's what we see today. And it boggles my mind that this is actually happening. And then reading the Bible, when I've gotten saved and learning that Revelations, is telling us exactly also what is happening. So it's like, it tells us that in these days that men and women, will have dreams, and, we're all having these dreams. And I think I heard a couple callers that had mentioned dreams of stuff like this. So I'm like, wow, this is just, just crazy to me. I'm lost for words about all this.
Well, as far as the near future, what do you think is going to happen in the next 2 years?
Oh, maybe even sooner, man. Finding out what happened. I think I was watching Financial Prepper, and he was talking about these the dragon people were coming here, and they were young enough to be in the army, and they're here. So that's an invasion of our territory. So I feel like they're already here, and they're setting up just like you said, and they're going to start getting involved in some of these major companies and pushing their agenda to us, like you guys were saying. I'm like, wow, I just feel we may be under their control. Let me just put it that way. I really feel that way. Like they're going to run our country. I don't know how many else people feel that way, but that's how I feel after everything I've seen.
Well, as far as AJ, as far as there's a lot of our viewers, and I've gotten so many emails like crazy of people that have had dreams and different premonitions of bad things to come. I rarely ever get an email of somebody saying that they had positive dreams. But one thing I would say is that we just have to keep positive about what's happening. And the whole point of this is most of us are preppers. So we believe that we would be able to adapt in the event of horrible events, that we stay positive. And if it's really the like revelations type stuff coming, then many of us don't really have much to worry about either way. I guess it's like the whole fear of dying. If you're not afraid of dying, then this stuff gets less scary, and it's more like, ooh, how can we prepare for the less crazy stuff, like just regular disasters that you can survive. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I really love some of the commenters on there. They're steadily praying. You got a lot of prayer warriors in there, and I'm seeing them every time I go in the comments, and I just love seeing them. I was like, man, that encourages me. Okay, well, I guess all we have to do is just keep praying. Staying in faith that things are going to turn out right for this country. And I really do hope so. I'm scared to even take my kids out, man, sometimes. And I was like, I can't let that get to me, and today I took my son out to the movie theater, and he's dark skinned, and with all that stuff happening with them, I had him close to me, and had him, just right there by me, and I can't believe that, these children are being attacked too. And it just hurts me, and I don't know, man. And I really hope that, that the prayer warriors keep praying, because I'm going to be in there praying with them and thanking you guys, man. I'm praying for you guys too, Dex and Marf. You guys are awesome. And I just want to thank you guys and just, shoot that to you and see what you guys think about that. And I'll try to not offend. I hope I don't offend anybody down in the comments. And if I did, I apologize.
Go ahead and
I'm not trying
go
to
ahead and offend. I mean, the whole thing is that if they've been here for a long time, then they don't usually get offended by other thoughts. Frankly, they wouldn't be here still, because over years and years, I'm sure I've offended people a ton. The whole point is that the point we're trying to push is that somebody can have the opposite opinion of you, and you can still get along with them. That's old school. That's how most of the people are older here, so that's not anything like, foreign to them. It's the young people right now and how they've brainwashed all of us to get offended and to hate each other. That's why I like the older audience that we have here.
Yeah, great people. I've seen it. I haven't seen it anywhere else, like except for your channel. And Alaska Prepper is another one. Financial Prepper, and I cannot say her channel. You say it all the time, but I follow her as well.
Lily, Survival Lily.
I think it's Lily. Yes, I think I do follow Lily there.
Yeah, she's covering what's going on over. Is it like Netherlands? I forget. I always forget where she's from. Is Finland or one of them? But over there, they're telling their people to prep. They're having drills and exercises in the grocery stores. Like the industries are having their employees like get ready for a possible war. Like this is and to get ready for people to come and riot and to steal all the food. They've basically told their employees, like, when it happens, just let them go and get it. Don't risk your life over it. Just let them grab the food.
Yeah, I'm hearing in California and other places are having, gangs of people. And I don't want people to, I read some of how they title it, say gangs. And some people who are uneducated about certain words and stuff, they would say, okay, gangs, that means like Latin Kings or Latin Counts or whoever. No, it's not gangs. It's a gang of people, a group of people, that are just getting together and organizing and taking from companies or small businesses, local businesses. And where I'm at, I haven't seen any of that in Holland. Ottawa County, they're having their own issues there with satanic strongholds and other things that was happening there. So, yeah, and I'm seeing bikers now, MCs and one percenters around the area. So, yeah, I can see that area declining because of what's happened. But that's my opinion. Someone may have a different one, and that's okay. But I've just started seeing a rise in bikers coming over here around these ways. So, I don't know if you heard about that yet either.
It might be the pole shift, their natural hunting abilities. I'm just kidding. The bikers, their magnetic navigation is messed up. No, and here we don't have any of that. In Seattle, we don't have real gangsters. I mean, they do. No offense. There's some gangs in the South End and stuff. There's serious gangs, but you don't see as much as you would, like, say, in Cali or somewhere else, or New York. They're farther and few between. Bikers,
Absolutely,
we also have the Washington chapters of pretty much everything. I met the Hells Angels president one time in a bar when I was in my 20s, and they were some pretty rough dudes.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, well, AJ.
Yeah, my mother.
Go ahead.
Has family in there. Yeah, so my mother has family involved with them, like, years ago in the 70s and 80s.
Well, there's good parts of the Hells Angels, well, of all these motorcycle gangs. Like part of their whole motto is that they help community, things like this. Same with the Mafia. I mean, the Mafia would give out Thanksgiving turkeys and things. You know, they all have their good sides, their community service sides, and everything else. Well, AJ, thank you for calling today. And it's your first time call. Don't make it your last.
Yeah. Okay, sir. You guys have a good one. Thanks.
All right, thank you. God bless you, AJ. Bye. That was AJ. It looks like out of Michigan. He said Holland, and I thought he was from California, but maybe I misunderstood that. And then David is on deck. David, we'll get you in just a minute. First, going right back, Putin, I can destroy any building in Kiev city center, but I won't. Why? I will not say. So this is a really odd thing to say as Putin. Basically saying, well, I mean, most of us kind of knew this. This is another kind of common sense thing. If he says he has hypersonics, or even if he doesn't have hypersonics, the guy has a huge, huge stockpile of weapons. So really read between the lines here, saying, I can destroy any building in Kiev city center, but I won't. Why? I will not say. Is it because he's saving it for something else? Is he saving these weapons for a bigger fight? It says Russian President Vladimir Putin assures that he can destroy any building in the center of Kiev without nuclear weapons, but does not do this, quote, for a number of reasons. Yet the Russian dictator refused to reveal those reasons. It says, if we destroyed the 5 Patriot systems near Kiev, what would stop us from destroying any building or structure in the city of Kiev? It says, there are no such restrictions. We don't do that for a number of reasons. So a couple things here. He's basically called out that he knows exactly where these things are. You could take this both ways. I know some are going to go, yeah, he knows they're there because they're knocking down all of his stuff and he can't get to them, right? This might be like, yeah, well, I would beat him up if I would beat him up because I would totally beat that guy, but I don't because, I'm just, he's not good enough for me, some could look at it like that, or you could look at this another way and read between the lines. I think, there's obviously something bigger brewing. At least that's what I think, especially with all of the other events that tie into this, even today's NATO thing. It says, responding to a question on why won't the Russians do it, Putin replied, says, there are many of them. I'll tell you later. Is that not ominous or what? It says, but we can do that. Everyone understands this. Everyone is just waiting for us to start pressing the buttons. And then it says to use nuclear weapons, but there is no such need. This is the first reason there is no such need, because the enemy has no successes on the front line. According to Putin, the attacks on Russian territory are intended to provoke Russia to retaliate so that others can point fingers at us and say, look how evil they are, and then point this out to all of our partners. So do some of you believe that maybe they are trying to not do serious stuff because they know it's going to drag the whole world into world war and they're afraid that they're going to get annihilated once that happens? Do you think that quite possibly the Western narrative is possibly all wrong, or at least different than what they say, and maybe they're trying to be reserved? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, or give me a call at 2244-00-MARF. One thing is for sure, it again is very confusing because a lot of the information is conflicting. It said the Russian Ministry of Defense claimed the alleged destruction of a Patriot anti-aircraft missile system in Kiev by the Kinzhal hypersonic missile system. The UK Air Force denied this statement. The White House said it could not confirm reports of the destruction of the Patriot system in Ukraine. At the same time, the United States admitted that the system could be damaged. We covered this when it happened, so they essentially admitted that it was damaged, so something nearby hit it, but they did not say it was destroyed. The fact that the U.S. wasn't 100% and saying, no, they did not destroy it, kind of shows that they didn't want to be caught in the lie later down the road when they say, hey, all of those were destroyed and now we have proof. Or the whole thing is a cluster and a clown show. We don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And then a U.S. nuclear-powered sub arrives in South Korea a day after North Korea resumes its missile tests. So they're sicking the nuclear subs on them. It says the United States deployed a nuclear-powered submarine capable of carrying out about 150 Tomahawk missiles to South Korea on Friday, a day after North Korea resumed missile tests in the protests of the U.S.-South Korean live-fire drills. Now, remember, a couple of months ago, we actually covered when they said that they were going to do this, that they were going to somewhat permanently post up some nuclear subs in South Korea. It says that the U.S. Michigan's arrival in South Korea, the first of its kind in 6 years, is part of a recent bilateral agreement on enhancing regular visibility of U.S. strategic assets to the Korean Peninsula in response to the North Koreans' advancing nuclear program, according to South Korean officials. So this is part of their agreement, and it wasn't. By the way, it wasn't somewhat permanent even. It was that they were going to rotate out and basically you never knew when they were going to have nukes. So then the enemy says they could have nukes, they could not. They don't really know, or they essentially do it when it gets spicy. With the deployment of this, the USS Michigan and U.S. and South Korean navies are to conduct drills on boosting their special operation capabilities and joint ability to cope with growing North Korean nuclear threats, the South Korean Defense Ministry said in a statement. It said that the U.S. submarine arrived at the southeastern port of the city of Busan, but didn't say how long it would stay in South Korean waters. I know that I have friends that have said that this is very concerning. They believe that this may actually be something far more serious. And as far as these are friends that are currently serving in the military, and two of them are currently in the Navy, they said that they were very concerned about this because as far as the bilateral agreement and all of this, from what they have heard and what they've chattered about, is that this is bigger than this agreement. This is like they're actually putting it there for a reason, for some sort of defense because of something that is going on. More than that, they could not say. When one of them, they say, trust me. So I don't know if they actually know, but again, it's something, no offense to them, but they could be told stuff. So then, they are confused on things. One thing I do know is North Korea, Russia, China, South Africa, Cuba, Iran, all of these places are getting in lockstep, and possibly India. All of these countries are starting to flip over, and possibly even France. France is distancing itself from the U.S. We might see a World War III where even neutral parties end up switching. Now we have Sweden and Finland, two, historically neutral places are now involved. Finland is already in NATO, and Sweden is going to be right behind it. And actually, I think I said Finland and something else. But yeah, Sweden and Finland. So something is going on here. What do you think it is? Let me know. And let's see here. Oh, looks like something froze here. Okay, so security firm Chinese hackers broke into email security appliance in spying campaign. Suspected state-backed Chinese hackers used a security hole in a popular email security appliance to break into the networks of hundreds of public and private sector organizations globally. Nearly a third of them government agencies, including foreign ministries, the cybersecurity Mandiant said on Thursday. It says, quote, "This is the broadest cyber espionage campaign known to be conducted by a China Nexus threat actor since the max exploitation of Microsoft Exchange Exchange in early 2021. Charles Carmichael, Mandiant's chief technical officer, said in an emailed statement. It's funny he emailed the statement. I wonder if it got hacked. That hack compromised tens of thousands of computers globally. In a blog post on Thursday, Google-owned Mandiant expressed high confidence that a group exploiting a software vulnerability in Barracuda Network's email security gateway was engaged in, quote, espionage activity. Whoops, up there. Let's see here. Let's, think I somehow, I got hacked. No, I just clicked on the info. That's funny. Let's see here. Okay. Nope. How the heck did I do that? Either way, it was a big hack, and it was something that the hackers sent emails containing malicious file attachments to gain access to targeted organization devices and data, Mandiant said. Of the organizations, 55% of them were from the Americas, 22% from Asia Pacific, and 24% from Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and they included foreign ministries in the Southeast Asia, foreign trade offices, and academic organizations in Taiwan and Hong Kong. I'm glad that I didn't get hacked or anything. That would be very, very bad.
We now control your computer, Marv. You must say only good things about China from now on. Thank you.
That was weird. My mic muted out for a second. All right, continuing on, make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield, marfooglenews.com/EMP, where you can find a device that can actually protect you against all EMP phases, E1, E2, and E3, and it can protect you against, of course, CMEs, coronal mass ejections. This is something that can ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it's able to fry your cars, your trucks, your motorcycles, your boats, your generators, pretty much anything else. Go over to marfoogle.com/EMP and make sure to use the code MARF. They now have the micro, which is definitely really, really easy to put in. The 3 wires, cannot stress how easy. Red to red, black to black, and green to ground. That's how easy it is. Hook up the red on your battery, hook up the black on your battery, hook up the green to your frame. That's how easy this is. Very, very simple. And then you will be able to get home to bug in or get out to bug out. You can also get a home version that can be wired in and will protect everything within 250 linear feet. So make sure to go check it out. That is EMP Shield, the same company that's outfitting DHS, DOD, and is officially on the Dempsey team helping protect the Texas grid. marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF if you don't use our link. All right. Let's see here. David, is this David? David, you're live on Marfoogle News. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So,
You know,
God save the Queen.
go ahead. Yeah. Apparently, the resident was in my home state, and no one even knew he was here, so that's funny. But apparently, he had said that. It was really eventful, I guess.
So, well, he's said quite a few things around his speeches lately have been pretty, maybe his teleprompter guy is just having a field day this week, but he said, and I'm just reading what you said. I didn't actually catch this one. So he said, God save the Queen. Is that what he said?
Yeah. None of us knew he was around. I mean, which you would think, it's a small state. You would assume that you would hear something like that, which, you think they'd want people to show up for an event to show support, popularity, but, I don't know, nothing to be heard. But, I was watching a little of Timcast, and, they announced that in the highlights in the beginning. So I assume it must be true. And I'm at work when I heard the news, and I'm just talking back and forth with one of my employees after hours. No customers are around, and we're talking. We just cannot believe everything as a whole, what's going on, that like, oh, there's still people that don't see it.
Well, and so if you don't know, apparently he ended a speech in Connecticut with "God save the Queen," man. I notice he says, I notice he says this like a filler word. He goes, "No, think about it. No, think about it. No, really, think about it."
Yeah.
And then it's like almost every time he makes a huge gaffe, he says that like almost like, "No, think about it," almost like he's trying to say, like if he knows he said a gaffe, and then he's trying to tell people like, "Oh no, I'm way levels above you," like, "God save the Queen." It's like, you figure it out on your own. You'll get it sometime. No, think about it. And yes, we do. We're like, "God save the Queen," and you think about it all day, and you're like, okay, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. Is your point though that he's just not all there? He's got one oar in the water.
I think in general, what I think is, it's like he's clearly not making any decisions. If you see his White House or the House itinerary, it's like 9:00 double. Everything is double to take up space on the page. So go on the website and look. Monkey Works will show this stuff. He's doing nothing. Obviously, they're just occasionally wave, do an Easter egg hunt. And it's like, you would think that people would look deeper. They would go, okay, well, something's not right. And like almost stressful having conversations with people you have to have conversations with, like family or, someone you work with. And then like, because people are so at each other's throats. And it's like, you can see people are clearly coming undone, crime, whatever it be. It's such strange times, but yet no one can go clearly. Like, there are people that put him where he is for a reason, like critical thinking. You would think this would be that in my opinion, this would be critical
just to add something in before you said that, like why they would put him in there. Everybody thinks, because many people believe that he's not exactly running things, right? Well, if it's true, if any of this is true that people have been talked about for a long time, they needed somebody. Okay, let's just hypothetically, we're in one of these crazy shows like House of Cards. They would put somebody in office that they could control, that they may have something to hold over their head. So they basically sit there with the carrot or the thing that's being held over their head and say whatever they want you to say. Well, with his family members, maybe there is something like that. Maybe they have dirt on him or something. Maybe, he would have continued doing his 50, 60-year-old stint. Well, yeah, but maybe it's simpler than we think.
I mean, yeah. I mean, his predecessor, not the last guy in there, but the guy he worked for, the plan obviously had a hiccup. You could see the agenda. They were working towards something. And you see whose son is down there, in all the pictures. And this, once again, this isn't, tinfoil talk. This is stuff you can see in the news, and you see what his dad's agenda is with all the money they're donating and what's been said. And you see where the other states are that have gotten that kind of money with the crime. Just, you can see the entirety of it all. The speeches from, coming from the top at the groups they have, where they go to Europe and ski resort type, without saying too much, it would seem very easy to put that all together in my eyes, but it seems like it's a jump too far for so many people, which is what I don't get.
Well, because so many people are not paying close attention. So many people may actually kind of see something happening, or they know something is wrong, but they purposely ignore it. That it might be, they personally, it stresses them out to even think about this kind of stuff. I know people that are very, very smart, very educated, and they purposely do not look into this stuff because it panics them, it stresses them out, and they know something's wrong. But they would rather have the picture perfect, like the pretend world that's doing okay, and know that there's bad stuff going on. They would rather just kind of stay in the matrix than step out and be uncomfortable. It's like they took the blue pill or whatever, and they just went back to sleep. But if somebody's about truth, I don't see, it's not a left or a right thing, because this is bigger than this. This is like a group above everyone else, and this isn't tinfoil either. A group above everyone else, and basically it's the corporations that have now taken over. There is no politician that doesn't have some sort of super PAC with these corporations that basically got them to the position they are, that they are not then emboldened or then, they owe these corporations to do whatever their bidding is. That's the problem with all the money and the politics. But yeah, it's only going to get worse from here. I mean, it's going down the crapper.
Yeah, I don't see a next run for who's next. I don't see any of that happening. But I was listening to another thing the other day about entertainment and that affects us. I think a huge part that people miss is right in plain sight. I think a lot of this you can't look at without understanding the occult, the dark imagery that's just subtly right there in front of everyone.
People don't believe in it. They don't know how real it is. And then,
I mean, they believe in it.
Well, the deeper you get it, well, yeah, I know, but the regular people, they don't know how real it is. And anybody that starts digging, the deeper that people dig, the harder it is to deny that there are bigger things going on, that there are secret codes, that there are symbols and things like this everywhere. It makes it sound more crazy. The truth and the reality of our world is crazier than fiction. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, in all honesty, I wrestled with like spirituality my whole life. The weirder things have gotten, to put it mildly, that's what really gave me that, and seeing my kid born, and I wasn't really comfortable with it. And this really made me like solidify it, because and at this point I wouldn't write off anything, but certain things like I wouldn't be able to even trust with my own eyes, knowing what they have plans, what you're seeing in the news, and what is it, where the casinos are, they're saying that saucers are around. It's like we knew that they were going to do that. Anyone who's been paying attention, and it's like they're trying to pull it off, like, and it ain't really landing.
No, it is not. David, we're all out of time, but I want to thank you for calling in today, and it was a great conversation. As far as it's just going to keep going in circles. For those that didn't take the blue pill, they know what's going on. It's not a paradigm of this direction versus that direction. It's way bigger than that. And the more because we're all constantly learning every day, the closer we are to it. But I don't know if any of us are going to ever, even before we die, ever going to find out the full truth. I think it's impossible to, but we can get close.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much. And I enjoy your show very much. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, David. And thank you for calling in. It's always a pleasure. Thank you. It's your first time. Don't make it your last. That was David. Yeah. Make sure to, and if you enjoy a call, make sure to let it be known in the chat. If you ever have an issue with any of our callers, which I usually try to say this before, we never say next. We never say this, that. It's just general rules. The hang up next, that kind of stuff. We never say that kind of stuff. That is, that will be muted. Other than that, though, if you want to have positive things to say, or if you want to let your opinion be known in a polite way, oh, well, I think this instead, that's always okay. But again, because anybody who calls in is most likely coming right back to the chat, or they'll be watching the replay. So just be polite. Treat people like how you would want to be treated if you called in. All right, and then by the way, thank you, and thank you to Drew O'Connor. Says, God bless you, Marf and Dex, for all that you do. Whatever happens, stay strapped, stay frosty, and trust in God. Be Real Beast says, this is all from all of us old folk. So just want to point out, many of you, if you've been here for a long time, know how I was raised. I was raised on old television. We were very poor. We were homeless at bits. We moved a lot, but my mom only watched like AMC. She only watched Nick at Night. I Love Lucy. Bob Newhart, Rhoda, Green Acres, Dick Van Dyke Show, all of these kind of old timey shows. You get trouble if you show a belly button type of stuff. I grew up on Jerry Lewis and Dean and all of the greats of the old time. But I think I do have a unique perspective. And I also have kind of a old man persona that it really comes out a lot now. I feel like these youth, and they're only like 10 years younger than me. Some of them only like 5. I don't understand them at all. I don't understand any of it. And I did grow up. I mean, I was reasonably young when everybody started at least having the flip phones and stuff and the Nokia brics. 6th, 7th grade, everybody had the Nokia brics and things like this. So, I mean, I grew up somewhat with those. I actually was, during that time period, I saw them evolve from playing Snake on a brick phone Nokia to now what we have now. And most of you all had that too, as adults. But to grow up as children, to have this from kindergarten, from preschool, having a cell phone or a tablet, this is damaging us more than we'll ever find out. There's no long-term studies, but we don't need them. The attention spans of kids, all of the things that are going on, it's absolutely going down the crapper. I love that we have an older audience, because back 20 years ago, you would not say, I voted for this person, and then you would be going to blows. Or very rarely that would happen. Now, if somebody says, I'm a T-Man supporter, I support Trump, or I support Biden, that's like fighting words now. And that's just stupid. The fact that people are not mature enough to believe different things and then to look past that is just absolutely stupid. I think it's moronic. And I know all of us have played part in that a bit, but it's just as bad when the right goes to the left. Oh, these Democrats and blah, blah, blah. And then they go, oh, the Republicans are this. It's kind of like being the bigger man and walking away from a fight. I know that a lot of people on the right actually do, and they at least listen to the other side. But both sides are really bad about just dropping this whole left for right. If the more you know, the more you realize that that is a purposeful divide that they have put in place to divide and conquer. And everybody says this cliche, but nobody actually really tries to absolutely try to make it a non-issue. If you are left, if you support Biden, my opinion is going to offend you, but I encourage you to stick around and try to find something that you do agree with me on. I don't agree with you that you think Biden is a stand-up guy and he's really great, but that's okay. We don't have to, and we shouldn't have had to. And the older folks here know that that wasn't an issue 15 years ago. It just wasn't. You could say that, you kept moving on, you talked about baseball, you talked about knitting, whatever it may be. You moved on, or you just avoided it altogether if you really loved that person. So I hope that people, this is a long form show. We talk about us like as a community, and this community really needs to work on this, especially getting offended. If you believe the earth is a certain shape, come in here saying everybody's an idiot, this and that, that's not going to work. But what if you say, hey, I believe this. I have mods that believe that, and I have mods that don't. I have best friends that believe that and best friends that don't. It's okay. We can all believe something different. We don't have to call each other idiots because somebody else isn't going with our narrative. Because there are so many thousands of narratives right now. It's pretty hard to have everybody on the same page. You could bunch it up and say there's only two sides, but that's not true either. A Shell, thank you. Next Exit, thank you, and thank you everybody that has made it so far. All right, and then China's Xi greets old friend, and this was old friend Bill Gates in first meeting with a U.S. business magnate in years. So the first person that Xi meets in years that is a big conglomerate is Bill Gates. Now, I believe Elon Musk, what's crazy is people, Elon Musk. Elon Musk met lower people, did not meet Xi. I don't know if he refused to see Xi or Xi refused to see Elon, but he did not. So that's null and void. Bill Gates, though, did get to meet Xi on Friday, marking the Chinese leader's first known one-on-one meeting with a Western business figure in years. Gates, a co-founder of Microsoft and the world's fifth richest man, is in Beijing this week for his first trip in the Chinese capital since 2019, before the demic happened. It says that during their meeting, Xi called on Gates to help promote U.S.-China relations. Oh, just the perfect... Oops, sorry about that, guys. That probably woke you up.
Adam, you are an idiot. We pushed the button for you.
Anyways, U.S. and China relations, they called Bill Gates for that. Isn't that just amazing? They literally think he can save everything. He's a master of all, jack of all trades. He is an expert in everything. We should look at him for life advice, world advice, health advice. He is a doctor. He is a scientist. He's a master's degree in everything. Oh, that's right. He's literally a dropout. And for some reason, we are looking at him for every piece of information ever. Dex, I did want to bring you in here for a second. I know that you actually, looks like we've already lined up Human Tiger. What the heck?
Yeah, this is, and it wasn't just Elon. It was also Tim Cook. Tim Cook went there and did not get to meet with Xi. Again, had to meet with lower level people, but Bill goes and boom, first class treatment.
Well, he did host them at his house for dinner and hosted his wife, and they high five behind closed doors. And I guess he's gotten past the gatekeeper. Sorry. Had to do at least one dad joke today. It's only scary because it's very obvious what is happening here. Something nefarious is happening right now. And we'll probably see a whole lot of changes pretty soon here. There are certain people that have control over a ton of stuff, and we know we're involved, but they never really tell us that. It's common sense. Mr. Bill was involved in a ton of stuff through 2019, through whenever it stopped. So the fact that he's going and meeting with them, not a happy moment for many. And then Dex, do you want to talk about India holds dual aircraft carrier exercise in the Arabian Sea as a warning to China?
Certainly. And by the way, who do you think has more power or influence in this world? Bill or Xi?
That's a tough one, actually.
As I was thinking it in my head, I'm like, wow, who would I pick?
Well, Bill has connections with the W and the H and the O. So does Xi. He has tons and tons of money, more money than countries. And yeah, I mean, he's got connections almost all over the world. I mean, Microsoft is everywhere. The stuff that he has reached out and touched, no pun intended there, EpiPen, all of that stuff. Yeah, that's a pretty, you wonder, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And you also wonder if something ever happens with Bill, kind of like how EpiPen became so stained, so to speak, like, nobody wanted to have any reference to him. What would happen with G, calling him good old friend, if something ever came from Bill on that? But anyway, let's move on. Those are great questions. Hey, if you have a theory on the answers to those questions, or you have an opinion on them, put it in the comments down below. But yes, India did hold this interesting aircraft exercise. They did it in the Arabian Sea, and they did it as a warning to China, as it's saying, and basically probably not something new to us, and it's not even new to them. They've done it before, but they sort of are doing it because China has never been able to do it, and that is to perform exercises with 2 aircraft carriers. Basically, this picture, they're side by side, but in the drill they were actually running 2 aircraft carriers together, along with, I guess, the rest of the support crafts that go along with them, to show their dominance, show their superiority in the waters there, so to speak. So they were definitely exerting military muscle, so to speak, which I guess we know China does all the time in the South China Sea. So this is India's version of, look at me and let's see how big and bad we are and pay attention to us. So, which is, I guess, on some regards, a good thing to remind China that, by the way, there's another country that has a much larger population than you. It's continuing to grow, still growing, has spending a lot of money on their own military as well.
And
definitely
they have nukes.
not. Yeah, and they have nukes, but they don't seem to be wielding as much power and influence across the globe as Xi is right now.
So here's one thing that I don't get, as far as the whole thing with say India and China. India has participated alongside China in huge exercises with Russia. India and China don't get along, and most of it, or a lot of it, is from this border dispute they have had for decades and decades and decades. I don't know how long they've had it, if it's 100, 200 years. But they've had this border dispute, the whole free Tibet thing, and they've had this border that both sides have the map and the border kind of drawn out further than the other one. So they overlap, kind of like the MasterCard symbol, right? How this place is in the middle, and they both say their border goes past the other, right? Well, all of a sudden, after this huge thing where 20 Chinese people pushed off 20 Indian people off of the Himalayan mountains, fist-to-fist fights, and they said that at least 20 Indian soldiers perished and got physically thrown off a cliff, all of a sudden they backed off. All of the encampments that were along those border areas that they both claim, gear, actual weaponry, actual surface-to-air missiles and SAM sites, all of this stuff got moved away. At the same time that India is part of the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which includes now, I believe they just added Iran, Russia, and all of that. And so they're financially tied, but they're still nemesis. They're adversaries, just as much as the USA is adversaries with China, but we have all of this business, right? India is very tied with them, and India is actually tied with them more than we are financially, from what I know. And if that's wrong, please correct me. But as far as this thing, what if China goes and takes Taiwan, has talked to India, because they had 2 meetings in 1 year, and it was all closed door stuff. What if they said, hey, you guys can have that area. You can have, we'll draw the border way up in, and you can have all of it, but you got to back us up on this. Or when we go to war, you'll have a seat at the table. You guys will be able to control this part of the world. We'll be able to control this. Russia will be able to control that. And, the Middle East will be controlling their stuff. Maybe they've set out kind of their claims to the world, and down the road, they're going to get in this massive war, and India will side with China. This is my prediction. And a lot of folks go, no, they'll never side with China. But I've seen a lot of things that tell me just my gut instinct that they're not. But again, if you're an expert on this and you've studied it your entire life, tell me why India cannot side with China, or they wouldn't switch sides to China's side. But it would be very helpful to also tell me how they are so closely tied in with China financially and in the SCO. And of course, doing this. They say they're doing this to show China. I don't know. Or maybe it's like our country. There's half of our country that's, or not half, but, a good amount of our up high people are infiltrated or being on the payroll of some other country, right? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below or give me a call at 224-400-MARV. Alabama lawmakers turn up the heat on Air Force in escalating Space Command fight. Legislation would freeze construction funding and restrict travel as the basing decision drags on. It said that weeks of partisan sniping between states competing the permanent home of the U.S. Space Command is ratcheting up even further as Alabama lawmakers use their muscle to cement the headquarters move to their state. Senior Alabama Republicans on the House Armed Services and Appropriations Committees have attached provisions to Pentagon spending and policy bills this week that freeze funding for construction and even limit travel funds for top Air Force officials in a bid to cajole the service into finalizing the move. Huntsville won the competition, and they're going to get the permanent base, House Armed Services Chair Mike Rogers said of provisions in his defense policy bill. And we're going to make sure that everyone who thinks that they are going to get authorization or funding to do or undo, that is mistaken. But proposals from Rogers and others likely won't pass without resistance from Colorado lawmakers who argue the command will fully be operational sooner if it stays in its temporary headquarters at Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs than if it moves to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. So one thing, why would this be a bigger deal? Is this a bigger deal because the future holds so much to do with space? That's what I wonder. Why are they fighting over it because of the future funding that will be siphoned into this? So they all want this funding for their state. Dex, is that a common sense or a logical answer to this?
It certainly is. And, there was a lot of space investment in Huntsville. I mean, I remember as a child growing up here in Western Georgia, going to space camp over in Huntsville. That was like a field trip kind of thing. So I know there's a lot already invested there from probably NASA's perspective as well as the military. So it makes, it makes sense that is one of the locations. I don't know what the current temporary location in Colorado, it's clearly that both states are jockeying for it. They want it. They want the investment. It's going to be buildings. It's going to be employment. It's going to be, more people in those towns that generate tax and revenue. So I think that's probably the biggest part of it. And it's, a recognition for that state that, it's got, yet again, another predominant component to it. That's, part, in this case, the Space Force. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, we will end up seeing, and so we'll see what goes on there. We have our next caller on deck, and we have Human Tiger, a first-time caller. But first, thank you, Ian DeBow. Elections are upcoming. Planning the next epidemic, possibly, Ian. I think it's going to be a catastrophe, not a demic. I think it's going to be more of a cyber thing. That's my guess, but we're all just guessing right here. And then Zen1AZ, thank you for your support. Drew O'Connor, thank you. Carol, thank you for your support. Thank you for the super sticker. Laguna Berry says, hi, Marf and Dex. Laguna Berry, truth seeker here, took Marf's advice and took time off before I short-circuited on the stress. Wanted to say hi, though. Laguna Berry. So as you guys know, I've actually told people, if you do stress out watching my show, take a break, leave for a little bit, and then come back when you're refreshed. This stuff is not all, I don't know how many channels actually tell people, like, don't watch us for a while. And it is a good piece of advice. If your heart hurts and you're stressed out, then it's probably not a good idea to follow this stuff. But we're here for when you do want to follow. That's why that people, if they don't like us, don't watch us. It's volunteer. But people have a problem if they don't like somebody. They don't even want other people to listen to that person. So again, I think that's a good thing. My friend Nick, like I used him as an example from what you're talking about, Laguna Berry. He stresses out really, like it gives him panic attacks. If that's the case, then you want to take a minimal dose of the craziness. Now, you got to put your health first. You got to put yourself first. You got to put your family and your kids first. So if it's affecting you negatively, keep that in mind. And Janet Ruth Haynes, spread the love, spread the fire, spread the peace, and let it be well with our souls. Amen. That is a $200 super chat. I hope you did that on purpose. Again, I know that some people do like to do that kind of stuff, but again, wasn't necessary. It's very appreciated. But many times, and over the last few months, we've had a lot of accidentals. So you don't have to say anything. If you do, just email me and I can try to help you from our end. But a lot of people, since they made that bar slider thing, a lot of people have made mistakes, and it's no fun. But thank you. Either way, if it was $1, I thank you and I appreciate you and thank you for your support. Let's see here. And next exit, thank you. Trinity Red or Blue Pill, hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. And thank you, Vibron, Delby Diaz, B&B, and next exit. But do be careful with that. If you do a super, just make sure to be careful. That slider thing, I would usually type it in manually when I support just to make sure. And then before we talk about Cuba, Iran presidents meet in Havana. We're going to go over to our next caller, and our next caller is Human Tiger. Before that, just make sure if you do need an affordable way to get bulk freeze-dried foods, these foods can last 25 plus years. They are all sealed in Mylar bags and then packaged into buckets. You can get a 3-month kit for $200 off. That means that not only are you going to get a huge $200 savings, you're going to have a huge chunk of food that doesn't take up that much space because it is freeze-dried, and it will last over 2 decades. These are good, not just for SHTF, but for any kind of blackout, power outage, storm, flood, earthquake, whatever disaster comes your way, hurricane, tornado. This is a great thing to have because essentially these foods, you just add water or cook in some sort of sauce. Again, water, sauce, anything liquid, and it brings the flavor back out. Even after 20 years, you can eat this. It's fully something that can have you survive. So this is really, really great. It's one of the most affordable ways to get that much bulk in that low of a price. So make sure to go check it out, marfooglenews.com/prep. They also have other plans like 3 days, to-go bag kits, 72-hour kit. You can pretty much get as much as you want or as little as you want. And if you are on a budget, I highly recommend also going and checking out all of our friends' channels, because there are other channels that will help you prep affordably, maybe get into dehydrating instead of freeze drying. But this is if you want to get it done, and if you want it in your closet right now and you don't have months or years to get prepped, then this is a really good way to do that instantly. marfooglenews.com/prep. It helps support our independent channel. Again, we are on our own with the help of our fam. So thank you guys. And let's see here. Let's go over to Human Tiger. You're live on Marfoogle News.
Hi, Adam.
Hello, Human Tiger.
Can you hear me?
You're live. We hear you.
All right, fantastic. I just want to say I love your show. It's my first time call.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
So I also wanted to say a quick shout out to Joara. I know she's listening. And but I wanted to say some very positive message to all of your listeners. I want to give some encouragement and some empowerment tonight, if that's okay.
That is perfectly okay. It's always encouraged.
Okay, fantastic. So a quick history. I've been on YouTube since 2006, and since then there's been a lot of changes on the platform. Originally, way back then, if you want to look something up, you could find it like right away. and you can start going down those rabbit holes real easy. And that's what I did. And I had a lot of extra time, and I dug and I found incredible amounts of information. And in the comment section was also very different. When you commented, you would have people responding to your comments with their own information that they had found, and it was a real conversation going back and forth where you could really share ideas and concepts, and that's completely different now.
And you could do links everywhere, right? You used to be able to go, oh, hey, check out this. I think they cut that out a long time ago.
Yes, that's so unfortunate. But something else started happening. I don't know, around 2010 or so. I noticed that conversation just stopped, and or maybe it was 2008. I'm not sure. Maybe 2012. I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but when I would put in a comment, there was absolutely no response. No one giving any comments back to me, and so I started testing it out. I started wondering if anyone was really paying attention anymore. So I was commenting on various videos, and I would get absolutely no response anymore. Suddenly, I was like, it's like I was being ghosted from way back then. And well, so what I ended up doing is I ended up going on to the same platform through another person's account, and I looked for my comments, and they just weren't there. And I did it with another person as well. Another friend went through their account, and my comments just weren't showing up anywhere. And so I realized what was going on. And at first, I felt kind of downhearted, and like I wasn't I couldn't speak anymore. And then it and I kind of like just stopped making comments for a couple of years. And but what I wanted to share with everybody else is that don't stop, even if you feel like you're being watched or you're being put onto a list. Don't stop commenting. Just get out there and just be yourself, and do what you want to do. And I'll just give you one more little tidbit. I actually put a super chat into the Marfoogle news, about I don't know, 2 maybe more weeks ago, and then and also about a month or two ago, I did 2 super chats, and both of them looked like they worked. The money came out of my account and everything, but no one saw my message.
So YouTube pre-screened it. That happens if it has certain things. So you're saying that,
right? So yeah,
huh?
Yeah, I thought that if I did a super chat, my message would get through, but nope, they screened that too.
You know what's unfortunate is
I just want to let people know,
when we had 10,000 people in the chat, we were actually for a minute there. I don't know. I can't remember if it was maybe the start of the conflict and everybody was really paying attention to all of this. We had a couple shows that, it was also when DLive was really big. YouTube was really big. Everybody was going to YouTube for the information. There was a lot of big events going on. But we had 15,000 people. DLive didn't work. But first of all, we got hit on YouTube for 30 days for a stupid thing where I accidentally showed a weather storm chasers video thing, and it happened during a live show. So they said back then it wasn't like a 7-day warning; it was just 30 days. You couldn't do live. I could still upload. It wasn't a strike or anything. It was like a copyright thing. And for 30 days, we went over to DLive and we started up DLive. DLive was at the peak when PewDiePie and everybody was going over there, and he was over there, and it was really big. So we were having like 4,000 or 5,000 people over on D Live, and then we were having like one day we had 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people over here on YouTube. Well, one day D Live went down. They had a big update or something, and then everybody came over to YouTube, and it was the biggest we've had. It was like 14,000 live concurrent viewers, and YouTube physically came into our chat. Dex, do you remember that? YouTube literally came in and started modding our channel. And they modded our mod. That's how we found out. Our mod said something, and YouTube modded our they modded our mod. Our mod said something, and we were blown away by that. And PewDiePie, because we were over on D Live, we were the number 2 channels on D Live. PewDiePie came in to our show, and he was basically did like an emoji, and it said PewDiePie. And this is when you could click on somebody's icon, and it would actually go to their channel. I don't know if they brought that back, but temporarily they took that down. So when our mods and everybody clicked, they were like, "Is that the real PewDiePie? 100 million subscribers in this channel?" They clicked on it, it went to his real channel, so we knew it was him. On the replay, it's like once I said it, a couple days later, I go, "Oh yeah, PewDiePie was in our chat." All of a sudden, they went back retrospectively. Dex, what did they put his name in? If you went to the chat replay, what did it show?
It was like YouTube user. It was like this generic name, and it was the same person, but it didn't even go to that channel anymore. It was the same comment, the same emoji. It was right where we knew it was. It was right there, and they literally went in and unlinked his account and made up this other YouTube user account and linked that.
So I don't know if PewDiePie did that, or if they didn't want, because at the time, if you think about it as a platform, they're number 1. And this was before Mr. Beast was number 1. Their number 1 channel was in ours, and they were like, "No, that's not acceptable." Well, at least that's my thought. That's my theory, that they're like, "Oh, we can't have him,
Seems like enough a little work to do,
commenting on this channel." But it is pretty wild to think about the stuff that goes on, and it's like, I just wish it was, even when I first started it, even though it changed a lot, it was a whole different experience when I first started here, and I really wish it could get back to that. Maybe with the new people in charge, maybe it's heading back that direction, because you know, everybody I know that's on YouTube as a creator, they love YouTube, they love being able to do it and what it provides. But at the same time, a few years ago when we were going through CV, they shut down everything. You couldn't say anything for a period of time.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on that happening. I expect more censorship, to be honest.
Yep. Well, especially the time we're heading into, and it goes up during a certain period, and then it goes back down again, and they make up all of the money they lose during that time.
Yeah, and I just wanted to share one last thing before I go. I had a theory that I can't prove, but I thought it was an interesting little note. 2 days ago, you had a little article on about a lab that was cloning humans, and I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be interesting if they needed a lot of baby formula? Remember the baby formula shortage we had?
Yeah, for creating lots of synthetic people. Well, they were making it. They are somehow able to make a synthetic egg and sperm and make a human somehow. I do not understand what the heck they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make too much sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds very Star Wars, but wouldn't they need a whole lot of baby formula?
Maybe. And I'm pulling up the article now that he's mentioning. Synthetic human embryos are created in the lab with no egg or sperm. Scientists announce historic breakthrough, raising hopes for new treatments for miscarriage and rare genetic disorders, but development poses huge ethical dilemmas. Well, yeah, like, I don't know, playing God, literally playing God, creating a human out of nothing, with no other human intervention.
Right.
That's what other reason do you think they're doing this though, too? Are they going to need this in the future? Is there going to be a disaster where they're not going to have people to recreate? So think about this. They could send an AI bot or something with these synthetic eggs and sperm and a machine that actually makes this. And think about this. They talk about this lab that can create babies in, right? What if they before they send actual humans, they send some sort of AI bot to Mars or to the moon or somewhere else or underground, and they literally create a people there from scratch. I mean, like, this is not. Oh, and they could genetically modify them so they could, I don't know, have bigger lungs in lower atmosphere or something. Just these are crazy ideas. But look at what's happening in supposed real life right now. They're making humans from scratch.
Yeah, but
it's nuts.
Wouldn't you need an army to do that? Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're
maybe they're
making one.
World.
Maybe they're making their army.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's freaky.
That's part of my theory.
Well, Human Tiger, thank you for calling in tonight.
Well, that's it for me.
And nice meeting you again. Thank you, and thank you.
You have a good night. Bye.
All right, you too. Able-bodied. Thank you. And I know you've been really, really busy. Thank you for your support over on PayPal. I appreciate you. And that was actually a very specific support. $17.76. Thank you. And says, long live the spirit of 1776. God bless and much love, Fooglers. That is awesome. Thank you, Joanna H., for the PayPal as well. Linda P. and Tony D. Tony D., thank you so much. Lori S., appreciate you and Dex. I wish I could give more. That's okay. Thank you so much. And I actually didn't see that. Human Tiger, you did this. I don't know when you did this, but remember the baby formula shortage a year or two ago. Guess where the formula going? Underground to the young babies they just birthed in the lab. So that's funny. Human Tiger, actually, that's like a few days ago when we did that show. Thank you, Human Tiger, and I appreciate that. And over on D-Live, thank you, Swatchnik. Let's see here. Poco Loco, Skyhouse, Kimbria, and Leo X White. Follow Boogie17. Yobi, thank you. It's nice to see you, Yobi. And then Chance, thank you for holding it down over there. Well, I get the Chance, and remember, make sure, literally, Chance, go over and check out Chance's Amazon link. He actually is an author and has great books. Go check out his books on Amazon. You can actually find that link on marfooglenews.com. That link is actually on our friends page. And again, really, really, really awesome people over there. But you can find friends right here. So we're going to get to our main story now, which is pretty wild. Chance's link is right here. Thank you for holding down D-Live there. Thank you. And Cuba, Iran presidents meet in Havana, vow to confront Yankee imperialism. So they're talking about possibly putting Iran hypersonic missiles in Cuba. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi met with Cuban counterpart Miguel Diaz-Canel on Thursday, his last stop on a three-nation Latin American tour aimed at shoring up support among Latin American allies saddled like Iran and U.S. sanctions. It's saddled by U.S. sanctions. One thing I want to point out, do you remember when the U.S., when we pulled out support for big chunks of Latin America, guess who filled our spot? That was something we called as well, is our adversaries. It said Raisi told reporters at a trade forum in Havana early on Thursday that Cuba and Iran would seek opportunities to work together in electricity generation, biotechnology, mining, among other areas. It says, quote, the conditions and circumstances in which Cuba and Iran find themselves today have many things in common, Raisi said in a conversation with Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel. Every day, our relations grow stronger. Again, this is the same country. Well, first of all, Cuba, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, big deal. And then Iran, whose Supreme Ayatollah has literally put out animation videos of them taking out our former president. It says top officials signed administrative agreements vowing to boost cooperations between the country's ministries of justice and customs agencies, as well as telecommunications. Rossi earlier this week visited with leaders of fellow oil producer Venezuela, which is another one. This is where he pledged to ramp up bilateral trade and expand cooperation with petrochemicals. Prior to arriving in Cuba, the Iranian president also met with Nicaragua's Daniel Ortega in the Central American country. I mean, is this not, we're not like painting a picture of World War III soldiers from all over these countries. I mean, I can just see it. It's like straight up a Red Dawn thing where you've got all of these different countries, in this battle. Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, and Iran are among the countries that have had to heroically confront sanctions, threats, blockades, and interference from Yankee imperialism and its allies with a tenacious resistance. This visit reinforced our conviction that we have in Iran a friendly nation in the that we have in Iran a friendly nation in the Middle East. It's the friendly nation, Iran. I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry. Asked earlier this week about Rossi's tour of Latin America, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said the Iranian president could speak on his own agenda. We don't ask countries in this hemisphere or any other to choose who they're going to associate with or who they're going to talk to or who they're going to allow to visit. Kirby said, that's for them to speak to. We're focused on our own national security interest in the region. Rossi's visit comes as Cuba also moves to bolster ties with distant but critical allies like Russia, China, both subject to U.S. sanctions. So they actually, now they're talking about these essentially putting Iran's hypersonic missiles. Now I want to point out, Dex, let's see here. You want to explain your video and where they can find it?
Yeah, it'll be on our other channel, Marfoogle News, probably later, early tomorrow morning. But they're not actually telling us this. What we have to do is pay attention to what is happening here and who is meeting. This is the adversary club. This is the bad boys club, if you want to call it that. This is those who have been wronged by the West, by the U.S. When they meet and they put out their public statements, we have to understand that those public statements are a selected snapshot of their discussion. It's not telling us what they really talked about. They highlighted electricity generation, biotechnology, mining cooperation, justice, reform and cooperation, all this stuff. They even signed some stuff. That is not that, they hold back what they really talk about. The sensitive stuff that they're talking about, they're not going to necessarily put out in the public discourse unless it serves an exact purpose at that time. They are going to hold that back, and they're going to actually hold it back so that they can control the narrative and maintain strategic ambiguity. So we can just infer, though, that we've got these major countries in the Latin American area, whether it be Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, but they're now partnering up strongly with Iran. So what would they bring to the table? They can bring some oil, they can bring some other stuff, but they can bring military might, they can bring technology, they can bring these hypersonics that they just recently talked about introducing. So if they start to bring all of that to these new partners of theirs in the Latin American countries that we just mentioned, especially Cuba, only 90 miles from our shore, that's a huge deal. Even if it's not nuclear, it's still a huge deal. So, keep that in mind.
Now, just to point out, Cuba, which is, again, 90 miles away from Florida. I did not know this. There's actually a bar in Florida called 90 Miles from Cuba. Did not know that. An unintentional advertisement for whatever that is. But this is very, very close. If they end up using this as a launch pad for some of these other countries, that's not geographically safe from anybody. The U.S. has always been safe. What if they are planning on moving things to Cuba to load up to then another kind of shocking things? The whole Chinese spy base that's potentially there. They also had before that, there was questions that Russia had already this huge satellite dish system to monitor U.S. communications. Say they cut communications between us and Europe. They plant some stuff in Cuba. They get their Air Force, going in Cuba. Right now, there's rumors that they are building huge airfields in Cuba. They are also talking with Xi about these things that can make essentially the Spratly Islands, but by Cuba. So it would dredge the bottom of the ground, make islands, and possibly even make airfields in the middle of the water off of Cuba. That's extremely concerning. So now that Cuba's in this circle of the axis of evil, or whatever they're going to call it now, this is not good. It's all forming up. It's shaping up to World War III. And people are going to deny it until the last second. That's just my opinion. Let me know what yours is in the comments down below. But yeah. And then, so yeah, as far as now, Iran says they have hypersonics. They're very close now talking to Cuba. They could literally end up passing them again. Probably they were past the technology from Russia. Then they could end up passing them or putting them in Cuba. Also, rumors, and this is only speculation, and some folks in Fugel fam that said that they still have family in Cuba, said that they're building massive platforms to build things in Cuba, and they are satellite safe. So essentially, they are covered grounds where they can build things in Cuba that will be safe from prying eyes. Even said that they custom ordered, and this is, I don't think you will hear this anywhere else, unless it's going to be in mainstream a year from now. They ordered, and the one thing that they realized is they ordered this peat moss stuff that basically grows. It's like chia pet stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but it's they usually use it for rooftops, and they plant it on the roofs to put grassy roofs on buildings. You see like high-end cabins and futuristic kind of eco houses, they do this, and they plant like this special grass on top of roofs. So it looks like it's, all natural or whatever. They use these steel, it can be, I think it's paint, it's like kind of like a chia pet. It's painted on the steel, and then they can grow this moss stuff. Why would you need that? Well, maybe they are trying to use this satellite cover and to have some sort of manufacturing going on below. But they ordered so much of the stuff that the company even thought it was a mistake. So that's what I heard. Again, it's not less speculation and more rumor. So I think that they are going to be heavily involved in whatever comes next. And just as Japan is going to be kind of on our side of things, heavily involved with the going stuff with China, and how South Korea is going to be heavily involved with whatever happens with North Korea. And of course, how the Finland and Sweden and Romania are going to be involved with whatever goes on with Russia. What do you guys think, though? Let me know. Oh, and then look at where Jamaica is, by the way. Look at Jamaica, Haiti, all of the stuff that's going on. Jamaica, right here. They have China there building infrastructure. China's in Jamaica right down below. I mean, you have all of these different things going on all at once. China gave loans to Jamaica under the the Belt Initiative. So it's like there might be some funky stuff here coming. So be prepped, and this is why we say be prepped, be ready. All right, Dex, let's go over the web only. We've got a lot of stuff to cover.
We sure do. Head over to marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show, or open up that show notes link down below in the description. It'll take you right to this page with all the news we just covered, all the links, the sources. If you're looking for it, it's there. If you're looking for the caller information, it'll be there as well. So everything you're looking for right there on a very simple and easy to get to page. This is what we're showing you right here on the screen. Get to this orange bar and you're going to find the overflow. It's the rest of the story. Everything else that we didn't get into the show, or some supportive content, or content that is too hot and gets people all fired up and start fist fights over. We don't want that happening. So look, here's the quick update. Pfizer warning about a shortage of penicillin, and this is not the pills you pop. This is the injectable ones. They're claiming that it's STDs and the rise of them that's causing such a shortage. They're saying it's going to be until next year before they have enough. So maybe be careful if you're out there. Hey, there's a whistleblower now and coming out of Anheuser-Busch that is saying they actually meant to do that, and they meant to do it to destroy the brand. Now, it's just an opinion from a whistleblower, but it's a very interesting perspective. So if you want to go see what he or she, I don't remember, had to say about the inner workings of the whole Bud Light fiasco, they were basically trying to say that, hey, the whole thing was falling apart year over year. They weren't doing really well, and they needed a way to sort of can it, so to speak. I guess pun intended. So interesting story. Hey, George Soar his son is in the news. So if you want to know, they did a big write up about him. Alex, if you want to see that, it's on here. Of course, we've got the coverage of what's going on with the political spectrum and what's happening there. An interesting city being built to potentially hold. I think we've covered this one before. It's the floating city, but there's another article out about it. So if you want to see that, that's there along with all the political coverage. Some updates even coming out of the Vatican over in Rome, and some additional updates around the events going on with the conflict in Europe between Ukraine and Russia. All of that is covered here in detail. Again, it's a lot of Ganda pieces of what typically falls into here, in addition to the stuff we covered earlier. So all of that it's almost like an entire show's worth of content. We put it together for you every night. It's on our website. Just go to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, or open up that show notes link down below in the description. It'll take you right here.
Well, thank you, Dex, and thank you for your service today. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Much love, brother.
And it is, of course, we're at that time. I want to thank, again, last minute. Thank you again, Janet Ruth Haynes. I appreciate you. A. Shell, thank you so much. Let's see here. Robert Santo. Stephen McMahon says they have already had new tabletop exercise about another V. I forget if it's Marburg or Ebola. I believe it's... I don't know if there was a separate one, but catastrophic contagion is the big one that everybody pays attention to, because it's the same people that were involved in the first one right before the other one. Like I've said before, I would not be surprised. I actually thought in January of this year, when there were rumors and talk of China having their cremation facilities overwhelmed, I thought we were going into 2.0. And I was wrong. I didn't say like this is going to happen, but I said I would not be surprised. And I actually was worried about that for about a month. But that still could be coming. But now things have shifted. The patterns show that they're looking at cyber stuff. And that's my honest opinion of what I think is going to happen. You don't have to believe me, but all of the folks that I've talked to, all of the different military members and all of the different folks that I know, there's a lot of really, really smart Foogle fam here that we're lucky to be able to have them, give us some of this information. And not all of it we can put out, but we can put out the common sense stuff, and you can really see a lot of this out right in front of you. So I hope people do listen. The people definitely thanked the Foogle fam in general for giving them warning on CV and when that happened. I actually do not think it's going to be a CV thing before we have some sort of cyber event, but who knows? Hopefully we have neither. Dex, go ahead.
Hey, Adam, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Drops Family Garden over on Rumble, who gave a Rumble rant of Marfoogle. So thank you very much for that, Drops Family Garden.
Hey, Drop.
It's Murphy's Law, too. Murphy's Law and Drop.
Well, Murphy's Law and Drop, we miss you. And I know that Rumble is actually, it has its own crowd now. Unfortunately, Rumble is not set up so we can really see that stuff. And it's not there's like they're still in their like infancy. I don't know. I hope that I hope they can like really adjust that so it's as easy and workable, because there's great people over there, and I know that crowd. I mean, think about it. Murphy's Law and Drop. They've been in the Fugel fam forever, so we miss you. I miss seeing your name in the chat that I can see. So thank you guys. Thank you, Drop, and thank you, Murphys. They actually met through our channel, and now they are, of course, together. There's many Fugel family couples. They found like-minded individuals that they could grow to love. So that was our matchmaking thing right there. Also, another couple that I miss is Shan and BOD. If you guys remember, Shan would be the one who called in and he did the Darth Vader imitations. Haven't heard from them in a while. The last time I heard, Shannon was BOD was going through some health issues and was in the hospital. So I didn't get to talk to him as much as I wanted to, but hope you guys are doing good, and I'm praying for both of you. And love you guys out there in California. All right, Dex, thank you again. Thank you, everybody. Thank the mods. Let's drop an M in the chat for the mods. Love to hear a thank you to the mods, because they have been keeping it peaceful and dropping links when appropriate, and they've been helping the whole time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Tonight's top supporter, Janet Ruth Haynes. Thank you so much. Again, we're going to make a silly song of satisfaction for you. And then thank you, everyone. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. By the way, thank you to everybody that just subscribed. Kronosh, George, Devin, and Steve. Thank you, Blop Jones, for becoming a member. Few people just became members, so thank you. George Richard, Rasta Bear, Carmine Petraka, Alvanita, Lame Bowl, Kronosh, Badgerworthy, Blop Jones, Terry Richardson, Vt Outdoorsman, Monk Me, and Miss Jammer. Thank you guys.
Cali, Cali, 2, 3, 4. I said Cali, Cali, 2, 3, 4. I said Cali, 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 Cali,